Greetings, everyone. We want to welcome you today to the We Are Flora Pearl podcast. I am your host, Latasha J. Humphrey. In a moment, we're going to jump into this phenomenal podcast. But before we get started, we want to let our audience know that this podcast is being brought to you by the Flora Pearl Foundation, where our vision is bridging the gap, building a legacy. Our mission is that we are a 501c3, community-focused nonprofit mentoring organization, building healthy relationships and partnerships between women and girls through education, community service, networking, unification, and career planning. Our inspiration is Flora Pearl Humphrey. She was my paternal grandmother, and she taught me a lot about faith, family, and community. And that is where I draw my inspiration from. Now, audience, I want to have the pleasure to introduce to you someone who is very special to me. She is a part of my tribe. We actually grew up together, so we have experienced ups and downs in a major way. We come from the same stock, and that makes this particular podcast very unique within itself. She is a woman of strength, resilience, and determination. She loves her family, and I have the great deal of respect for her. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you one of my first cousins, Jamarra Dosunmu. How are you doing, Mari?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
Awesome. It is such an honor to have you with us today. And if you would, just go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jamarra Dosunmu. I am, again, like Tasha explained, we are first cousins. Our parents are siblings, my brother and sister. My mom and her father were brothers and sisters. I am a married mother of 4. I live here in Chicago, where I was born and raised. By profession, I am a professional hairstylist, where I am an independent contractor, and I've been doing that for over 25 years.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, we're going to jump right into the podcast. And the first topic we want to talk about is family. And like I mentioned moments before, our grandmother, Flora Pearl, she taught not only me, but she taught our family, a lot about faith, family, and community. And I want to know, why is family so important to you?
Well, I guess because it was, that's the way I was raised. I mean, many times we become what we were taught. So it is important to me because that's what was instilled in me. And that's what was instilled in my mother. And I know because I can go back as far as my great-grandmother, my grandmother's mother, where I had a relationship with her. She passed when I was 19 years old. So I did have a great deal of my life to know and understand her, and I had a wonderful relationship with her. So I can go back as far as knowing the interactions between my great-grandmother and my grandmother, and my grandmother and my mother, and then again for my mother and me. And that's just something that was instilled in us from as far back as I can believe. With my younger sister, I was raised to be an extension of my mother. I was raised to be an extension of my cousin, and to be close to them, and how we interacted during the holidays, birthdays, or whatever. It's just always has been something that was very important as a family structure. So it was something that was instilled in me.
Right. And I definitely can attest to that. Those are some of the great memories that I remember, when it came to family gatherings and things like that. Those were definitely very important to us, and that's what we were shown. And so I wanted to kind of follow up with that. I know you kind of mentioned the connections, but definitely, how do you believe that shaped you as it relates to the upbringing, but it shaped you as a woman that you are today?
Well, it has definitely profoundly shaped me as a mother. I don't understand the way in which certain, people react to parenting when it comes to not understanding their children and not wanting to have a personal relationship with them. As far as extended family, I've learned that even though, we may not be as close or as tight as we like to be as far as, communicating every day or, going out, on organized events or whatever, that no matter what, at the end of the day, if as a family member, I'm here for you. And that could be in the midst of a feud, on the heels of a feud, or before we're going into one. If stuff hits the fan and you call on me, as my cousin, as my sister, as my aunt, or whatever, I'm there front and center, ready to fight, ready to go to battle, because at the end of the day, it's us against them. So, we were raised in that way, and I know you and I can both give a couple of accounts to where,
right.
it was us against the world.
Right.
It's like we would stand before anybody, and you mess with them, and they, I could be all 100% wrong. We'll deal with that when we get home.
I know,
but
right?
Right now, we're in battle, and whoever we're in battle with, that's how we going down. We'll deal with you when you get home and doing stupid stuff. But right now, we're going to deal with the problem at hand, and we're going to handle that, and we come together for that. So, that's definitely how I've raised my children. My 4 children are examples to the 100th power of that, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I've explained to them, both my husband and I, at any given moment, if you have to choose between me, and your siblings, always choose your siblings. Always.
Right. Yeah.
And I stand on that. I've never pitted them against each other. I've never asked them to side with someone else, regardless of the right or wrong of their siblings. It's like, it's you 4 against the world.
Yeah.
At all times.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's awesome. But I definitely, it looks like you said, we can attest to that, because I so remember the times when, definitely with Uncle Nene, when he would, say like, y'all, nobody, like don't nobody need to come back here like beat up. If
That's
there
right.
is a fight,
That's
like all y'all, everybody need to have some licks.
Everybody gonna have a black eye.
Right, a black eye, right.
One got a black eye, everybody come to you. That sure did.
Right.
Sure did. That's right. That's how we were raised. Yep.
Right. So I definitely can attest to that, and that's a beautiful thing though for you to even instill that in your children too, and that's something that they see and can take away from you and being the woman that you are now. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I definitely wanted to move into the topic that's called Remembering Flora Pearl, and so we have a video with the organization where a few of our family members, they shared about Flora Pearl, and so I wanted you to share with the audience at least one of your favorite moments, and I call it Flora Pearl moments. So if you do that.
Oh my goodness. I actually have been thinking about this for a little while, and there are so many, and it's like it's one of those things where I guess it's been a defense mechanism for me in the passing of my grandmother, where it's there, but I really don't like to surface it too much because it's very painful. But one of the memories that I remember, and it was one of me being an adult, and I tell people that, it's like my childhood was amazing. I don't remember any, within my family, I don't remember any sadness. I don't remember a time when I was without anything. I don't remember that there's a song out, I think it's Kendrick Lamar, and he says, I remember eating syrup sandwiches, and the kids asked me, Mom, did you eat syrup sandwiches? I was like, no.
What you say? I cannot relate.
No, our sandwiches always had meat.
Right.
Like, we didn't have to do that. So, and not to say that if it was, that meant that I had to eat that or whatever, but I'm just saying, I just remember, happiness. And there was a time in my adulthood, and this was after I had 2 girls, my daughters are older, when my current husband and I, we had separated. Khadijah and I, Khadijah is my second daughter, we had separated, and I was living alone by myself.
Okay.
And an apartment not far from where my grandmother was. She was at my house almost every other day, for whatever reason. She would walk the kids home from school or pick them up or whatever. So this one particular day, she and I had gone out, and we were in Kmart. And we were in line, and we saw my daughter's, at the time, he's my husband now, but at the time he was my child's father, saw him in the Kmart, and he was with another woman. Now, again, we were separated, so we were, free to date and see other people or whatever. And he was with this other woman and a child.
Okay.
And I was with our child together, and my grandmother. And, as the classiness that I had within me, being of Flora Pearl, I spoke, I rolled my eyes, and I kept moving, and the three of us, my grandmother, my daughter, and me, we sashayed out of there and got in the car, went home, and I broke down. I broke down, and my grandmother at that moment, was a time when she could have, bashed, Kwam. She could have been in a space of, let's get revenge, whatever. I know people who have had, that where their mother and their grandmother has gone to battle, to fight, or whatever, with men or for men or whatever. But that was a time when she broke down and she became vulnerable for me and gave me an experience between her and my grandfather, her ex-husband, when she was also hurt and felt betrayed. And if you knew my grandmother, she was not usually one who would go into that. She would not, this woman was so phenomenal that she became friends with the woman
See.
She became friends.
Oh, Jesus.
And was an aid and assistant to my grandfather and his new wife. And there's even a backstory behind that I won't get into. But it's like to look and think about that now. It's like, who does that? It's like we don't do stuff like that. We didn't do stuff like that then. We don't do stuff like that now. So this is how amazing this woman was, because she saw good in everybody. But at that time, she just comforted me and letting me know that this is something that we all go through. It was a time when I felt that we were just women together. This wasn't grandma and granddaughter or, adult and young adult or whatever. A wise woman, up in age and a younger woman. We were just two women who at, one time experienced the same hurt, experienced the same situation, and she was just able to bring me out of that and let me know, in a sense that, look at me, I'm fine. You're going to be all right. You're going to get through this. We're going to be good, and you're going to be fine. And I remember that even now, and it brings chills and tears to my eyes because she would not allow me to fester in that negative, in that negative space. She told me, you'll be fine. You're gonna be good. This is what being a woman is about. You have to. You're gonna feel this, and we're gonna move on, and it's gonna be okay. And so that was just, one of the times that came to my mind, and I cherish it again because it was just a woman-to-woman moment, and it was no different than me having a conversation with my best friend, or me having a conversation with my daughters today, or someone of older or whatever, and it just brings me still brings me peace.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful, and because just to have that wisdom, and I call it, I think, like pearls of wisdom, but it's where, like you were saying, you were able to be human. I think like that's what I see when just in hearing you talk about that. It wasn't like you had to, or she even made it appear like, I don't know about anything like that, or I haven't experienced, or I can't relate to it. And the fact that even for her to be human, even in all of the amazing that, she is still to me, because I feel like she lives on through us. But just with that, just being able to be human, I can so appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I definitely wanted to, and it's amazing because on the heels of you sharing that moment, it's a section that we call Culture Vibes. And basically, it's kind of dealing with things that are current or certain things that are going on. And needless to say, recently, Jay-Z released a 444 for his new album. And of course, one of the big topics that he discussed in the album is where that he admits to Beyonce, well, admits about cheating on Beyonce, excuse me. And of course, there's several views on it, and most importantly, though, the Beehive is not happy about it. And I wanted to kind of get your take on a few Twitter posts that I saw. Just in particular, I pulled these out. They were kind of interesting to me. One of them said, Jay-Z and Beyonce could be at war, and we wouldn't know until they release a track about it a year later. Real G's move in silence. And then the other was that, whatever B feels for Jay, that had her staying through all of the ish he did to her, I never want to feel that for anyone. Lord, keep me from it. And so I kind of wanted to, get your take on basically the situation, but those two posts, just kind of what are your thoughts on that?
Well, the first post, I live by that creed. Real Jesus is moving silence. I post that all the time on both Twitter and Facebook. You can search my timeline on both those social media engines and see, that's something that I use quite frequently for many different reasons. Because I am a true believer in that. In the world of social media, we've got so accustomed to documenting every single moment of our lives, and I just think it's just overkill. And it's like, to me, there's no purpose in, seeing what you eat for breakfast, where you go to the grocery store, what you eat for lunch. It's like, it's just constant, nonstop information. So I'm particularly not a fan of that, and I do support, the choices that they have made to say, so that you can know that we are human and we go through stuff like everybody else. But I'm gonna let you know how I want you to know and when I want you to know. And it may be a sense of when I get through and I deal with it, then I can bring you in and I can probably help you get through it and deal with it. Yeah. But if we both in the midst of some mess, it's very difficult for us to aid and assist each other. So first, let me get through it. Let me heal, and let me get to a space where then I can be of assistance to you. So that may be a year, 2 years later when I can put this into my form of art and present to you. How in which you can do that. So for that, I respect, I applaud, I support 100%. For the second post, I just think it's just kind of naive. Of course, my prayer as I've gotten older has not been, Lord, keep me from all. I remember as a young adult, that was my prayer. Lord, keep me away from all hurt, harm, and danger. And I have grown to believe that that's just not, the way of the world. So my prayer now has been, Lord, in the midst of the hurt, harm, and danger, give me the strength to get through it. Because, my mother has always told me, you are entering a battle, in the midst of a battle, or coming out of one. That's the way of life. So there's no way for you to say, I don't want to go through this. If you're a woman and you're in a relationship, and it's not to say I don't know the magnitude of of his infidelity. I don't know, what transpired. I don't know we don't know that. All we have light is that there was something unfaithful, and for different women, that could mean several different things. So that we don't know. But there's always going to be something. So to say, keep me from that, I don't want to be a part of that, then you're basically saying you don't want to be in love, you don't want to be in a relationship, you don't want to be in a marriage. Because more than likely, and that's something that you understand when you become, again, wiser, more mature woman, that more than likely you're going to be faced with something in that area, and it's okay. You'll be fine.
Right.
So for that reason, I kind of think that's a little naive.
Okay. All right. Well, even on the heels of that, I mean, you can share, how long you've been married, and but I believe definitely just in knowing you and Kwam, that you can give some insight as it relates to the institution of marriage. And so one of the first questions that I wanted to know is, how did you know that he was the one?
How did I know he was the one? Well, Kwam and I met my 21st birthday, on the heels of my 21st birthday. I was out partying, and I met him at a club, very popular club in Chicago at the time, and he was on vacation. He worked at UPS. He was on vacation, and we had actually that time, that because he was on vacation, we had that week just to kind of hang out, and go to breakfast and go to dinner, whatever, which actually was the foundation of our relationship.
Okay.
When I met him, I had a 2-year-old daughter, and after telling him that and interacting with her, he immediately became a father figure for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew then that this was somebody, not necessarily that I was going to marry him, but this is somebody that I definitely knew that I wanted to be in a relationship with. Because my daughter and I were, we were one entity. I'm not, that type of woman where, you can love me and you can't love my baby, or we're in a relationship and you're saying, well, I don't want to be a father figure. Although she had a biological father, and at that time he was a part of her life, still in dealing with me, not saying that you have to come in and be daddy, but you have to be in a position and want to be in a position to be a father figure to her. So by saying no to that, that means you would be saying no to being in a relationship with me. So the way he kind of entered into our lives, both our lives, and really just kind of took over. He took over as far as providing for both of us, as far as being a father figure to our daughter. And then a few years later, we had a daughter together. And even at that point, it was never, what I'm doing for Khadijah or what I'm doing for my daughter. They came as a package deal. When he picked up one, he picked up both of them, unless, there was something else going on, which I don't know where he couldn't. When he did for one financially, he did for both of them. When he, purchased one for one, he purchased for, so they were never, it was never ever a separation. So at that point, I knew that, this is a man that I can build a family with. This is a man that I can, that I want to, mother more children, with, and his relationship with his family. He has siblings. If you know me, I adore my sister. She is pretty much, other than my children, the best thing that's ever happened to me. I love my sister, and my mother. He has an amazing relationship with his parents. So I mean, just the fact that he was the family man that he is, I knew that this was somebody. Our family backgrounds were very, very similar.
Okay. Well, definitely I wanted to ask, in a world where divorce seems to be a common choice, sometimes it's on the table even before, people get into marriage. What do you believe has been the key to your marriage continuing and for you all remaining strong?
A key to that actually is it's very easy, but it's not. It's very easy, but it's very complicated. It's wanting the same goals. I explain as a hairstylist, one of my inner jobs in being a hairstylist, therapist. And I've learned that could be a gift and a curse, because depending on my mind frame, I have the ability to use my platform to shape the mind frame of other women, which could be very dangerous. I've known in times when I was very hateful. I was very, I hated men.
Okay.
I hated everything they stood for. And because I took that energy into work, that I literally saw my clientele there, and these are the same people. It wasn't like it was a different kind of because I did, they say the energy that you have, you draw towards you. But this is also the people that I've known and I've had a relationship with, and they have been my clients for a long period of time, when their mind frame started to change as well, and they started to adopt my philosophies and my way of thinking, which was corrupt and crazy. So at that time, this was about 10 years ago, at that time, I had to ask forgiveness of God, because I know that there were situations when, my opinions were shaping other women in a way that, was not pleasing to him and not to me.
Okay.
So one of the things that I think has kind of shaped Kwame and I, and it has not been easy at all. And anybody that tells you that it is crazy. Anybody that gives you that, all you need is love, that's it's like love has absolutely nothing to do with it. You all have to have a common goal. And our common goal was our family. Our common goal has always been our children. Our common goal, we have two sets of very amazing children. And in those moments when, both of us have had them, when we were packed and walked out the door, the thing that has brought us back is the fact that, what we wanted for our children. And that's not, you hear people say, don't stay for the kids or whatever. I don't promote, abuse. I don't say, stay if you get knocked upside your head every day, or, you're being spoken to in an inhumane manner or disrespected or whatever. But if you all are able to be adults, I'd say 75% of the time, because there are times when you do filter back into being very petty and immature, but you're able to do that, then, that is what carries you, through. And again, in my opinion, it has absolutely nothing to do with love. It's a respect for what you all have built. We have raised, our youngest child is 17 years old. He'll be 18 in like 6 months. And none of our children have ever been on drugs. There's no, we have no babies, unwanted. They're friends. They're educated. Their friends are good people. They're very strong-willed. They're all leaders. So even in the midst of, of qualms and our ups and downs, I look at my children and I say, we haven't done so bad. You know what I mean? It's like we've done, and I'm sure there are couples who have done it being apart, but for us, that has been what has kept us grounded, and the nucleus of what we believe in is our family, our children.
Right. Now, I do want to ask, because just like you said, your youngest, is 17, and, he'll graduate next year, right? With your 17-year-old. And so I wanted to know, just kind of a follow-up to what you were saying, because sometimes, like you were saying, when you stay together for the children, and then, he'll definitely go on. Do you feel like what you all have built now, because you'll be empty, what do they call it? Empty nesters, or, right. Do you know, is that something you all kind of looking forward to? Because you're like, okay, now, we can walk around, or we can have our home the way we want to.
Well, actually, if you've been in my home, if you know how my home operates, you know that we are all nudists, so that's not a problem.
Oh, okay.
And even though Io is the youngest, we still are not empty nesters. The only one that's really outside of the home is Jocelyn, the oldest daughter.
Okay.
On her own, she's been on her own. So even though he'll be technically graduated and technically away from home, my thinking is that, he'll be back. He'll be back for a couple of more years. So we won't be technically we won't be empty nesters for, a few years down the road.
Right.
And by him being the baby, it may take him a little bit longer than the other ones did to kind of, cut the cord. And because he is both, I say of all of my children, the youngest one, Io, is probably both very, very attached to his father and very, very much a mama's boy. It's probably equally, because his father is with him 75% of the time. He's a basketball player. He travels a lot, and his dad is right there at all times. He is, his travel buddy, and I know as he has grown into being a young man, they've had those young men conversations, so they have a bond, amazing bond that I'm excited about, I'm proud of, I support 100%. So it's gonna take him a little while to kind of to break away. He'll be back, home from school more. It won't be that, I'm not, how they leave and say, I'm not coming back here. That one I don't think.
Okay. Well, do you all get an opportunity to kind of have your time together, though?
It's in spurts. Again, the last 3 children were all athletes. And Kwam is, he has been very hands-on. He has been, this last go-round, God put us in situations that, gave him an opportunity to be, like I say, 100% in. And it's not, the times that we have, like when we said we have a date night, is usually to a game, where we go and sit side by side and, just kind of after the game, just interact, and have a conversation. I am a true basketball mom. So I know the lingo, so I can have a conversation with him, not only about our children, but about, sports in general.
Yeah.
He's taught me very well. He's educated me. So, I'm that wife that can, that can have a basketball conversation with my husband and not sound like an idiot, not saying, did he make a touchdown, in a basketball game. So, those are kind of our moments together. It's not often that we kind of get to branch off, and that's kind of been our life, because we have had children the majority of our relationship, all of our relationship. I came into the relationship with a child. So, again, that's just something that's a priority for us. And I just want to touch base on the question that you asked before about family and about my relationship. I believe that we've been taught to go with this whole one-size-fits-all thing. And one of the things that I enjoy on social media, not a lot of it, but that I enjoy seeing, and some people say that, they're corny or whatever, but Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, they have made a pledge to say, this is our life, and we're going to do it our way. We're not going to allow someone to dictate, what my marriage should look like, what my relationship should look like, what my parenting should look like. We're going to do it the way we want to do it. And if you like it, come along for the ride and watch and enjoy it. If you don't, keep scrolling and, keep moving, or don't be a part of our lives. Don't be a part of our circle.
Yeah.
And I respect that, and I think that's how it should be. Society has made us to believe that, what a marriage, the institution of marriage is supposed to look like, how you're supposed to act as a husband, what you're supposed to act like as a wife, how you're supposed to parent your children. And I just don't think that that's, I think that's a bunch of BS. It should be, you all should come together and decide how you want to do it. And throughout the years, that can change.
Right.
So the way we start out, the way we started out 20-some odd years ago is not the way we look today. It's like I say, if it does, then something's not right. That means nothing. There's no progress going on. There's no progression going on.
Yeah.
There's no growth. You should not be stagnant in anything. If you've been in a job for 25 years in the mailroom and that's what you've been doing, to me, that's not growth. That's not a good thing. You should have moved around. Even if you come back to the mailroom, at least say you was in the, in the marketing department or you know what I mean? It's like, what the rest of the building looks like. So yeah, that's my take on that.
Right. Well, what are some pearls of wisdom that you can give, in particular to, a single woman who desires to be married one day?
I am. It's very. I did a topic with a girlfriend on a show, and again, I believe the institution of marriage should be looked at in a totally different light. Going back to the post from the Beehive regarding Jay-Z and Beyonce, I'm a believer that, even the vows in marriage should be altered. And I've discussed this with my mother, and who's, an ordained minister, so of course, she looks at me like I'm crazy. I say, even the vows that we give, where we say, I vow, to honor and cherish you, and to be faithful and forsake everybody else, until I die. That's the most crazy thing I ever heard of.
Okay.
Because my take on that is, how can I vow that to another human being when I can't give that vow to God? God understands me in a sense that he says, you're going to fall, and you're going to fall again 7 times. As it says, man falls 7 times, and what is it? I can't think of it. But anyway, there's going to be constant failure in your relationship between you and God. You are not going to, you cannot vow that you will be constantly faithful. You're going to shun away, and when you come back, he's going to be right there. He's going to love you, and he's going to forgive you. You're going to mess up, you're going to screw up, and when you come back, he's going to be right there, and he's going to forgive you, and he's going to love you. So, for me to say, as a human, to say, I'm not going to make no mistakes, I'm not going to hurt you, I'm going to love you forever, and I'm going to always, give you my best. That's going in as a failure, because you lied. That's not true.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna screw up. You're gonna be unfaithful. So my thing is that what we should teach young women and men as well is to say, how do we get past that part? When we're faced with the infidelity, how do we get through that? I need to learn. I need to know how do we tackle that so that we can come out victoriously over that. When we go through financial hardship, when you're mad at me because I'm not forsake you over all others, because I have chosen somebody else's side over yours, how do I then come back? Because by you telling me that you're promising me this in the beginning, going into the relationship, I'm believing that. Because who doesn't want to believe that? Who doesn't want to understand and to make that be possible? But if we go in and we say, all right, we both going to screw up. We're both going to make mistakes. We're both, I'm going to hurt you. More than likely, you're going to hurt me. But how do we get past that? If that becomes the teaching of marriage and relationships and men and women or whatever, I think that there'll be less disappointment, and there'll be more situations where people can get through it, because it's not that, that devastation of being hurt. You know what I mean? It's like when you go into a fight knowing you're probably going to get hit, that's totally different than being sucker punched from the back. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You handle it better. You're more equipped to deal with the blows. You know what I mean? You brace yourself for it. It's like opposed to, like I said, somebody coming from the back and knocking you out, and it's like that's devastation right there. So if we properly prepare, better prepare, I think that's something that, as a single person, if you go into it and understand that, and stop looking for the Prince Charming and gonna come in a white horse and save the day, because that's a bunch of crazy foolishness as well. It's just not the way it works. I don't know where it came from. I don't know who decided. It was probably a man who decided that that's what, how we should look at life and relationships and love or whatever. But that's just crazy.
Well, do you believe that, like, even with the term, I know you said, say even infidelity, do you believe that it's more so a if than a when, though? Like, it's like if this happens, because it's like you can go into stuff, like you said, no, we're not perfect, but, if this occurs, like, we can at least be honest with each other, but not kind of where we go in and because if you say, when this happens, it almost seems like you're saying I'm giving you kind of not the permission to do it, but, because if that's the guy, and I guess that's for you to get to know the person even before you get into the institution. Because if like that's what they're doing before, don't think just because you said I do that's just gonna change overnight. Like if you was doing it 2 weeks ago and y'all about to get married, you might want to consider, and vice versa for a woman. If she's a spendthrift, then that's not gonna change overnight. But it's really those boundaries I'm coming to understand. More. I think it is like even boundaries. Just for yourself, even before you're getting into any type of relationship with others. But I just wanted to kind of, see if you're like, is it more so if that happens, you're like, we can deal with it, but not really give permission?
No, don't give permission. No, that's not at all what I'm saying. But I'm saying just understand the possibility. Okay. Just understand the possibility and prepare yourself in a sense. And that's not saying, okay, if this happens, this is what I'm gonna do, because you don't know that. What you're gonna, you don't know what you're going to do.
That's real.
But you're not in a space where you're saying, because he has vowed this to me, he's not going to do that, or she's not going to do that. That's where I think the problem comes in, because I've made this vow to you. So I'm saying that I'm not going to do that. This is not going to happen. So when it does happen, that's when the devastation comes in, because you told me you weren't going to do this. You know what I'm saying? You promised me. You swore before God that you wouldn't do this to me. And now you've done it. So now my only recourse is I got to go because you lied to me. Okay. I got to leave. I can't be a part of this anymore. I'm broken. We're broken. You know what I mean? Yeah. You've broken. You've heard it on TV. You're like, you've broken us. It's like, no, you don't have to be broken. Right. You don't have to be broken. You can fix it. It's like, it's fixable. So just understanding that there's a possibility that that this might happen. So in the event that it does, just know that we can get through it. You know what I mean? If that's what we choose, we can find a way in which we can come out on the other side of this in a victorious way. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Perfect. Well, we're going to move into our mother-daughter bonds. And so it's basically kind of a series of questions. And it's definitely, an exercise I believe that mothers and daughters can do. And it encourages conversation. But this is definitely a good way for our audience to get to know our guest even more. So are you ready? I'm ready. Okay. Well, what have your daughters taught you about you? Oh, my goodness. For different reasons, they've given me different things. My oldest daughter is definitely almost the exact same person that I am. We are very much alike. And it's so much so that it's scary. I say that she is the upgraded version of me. And the funny thing is, that's what I say. But when people meet my second daughter, they say, that is you all over again. And I said, absolutely not. I've never been as confident. I've never been as, she has a strength that I don't think anybody else in this, between the six of us, anybody else embodies. I mean, Khadijah has a mindset of her own, and that's it. It's like if she feels it in her head, if she thinks it, she does not apologize for it. She is not apologetic for how she thinks, how she looks. I've never had that type of confidence. So I say that Jocelyn is the new improved me. Khadijah is the person that I wish I could have been at 23. You know what I mean? I wish I could have walked with that kind of, and I mean, I think that I did pretty good, as far as and how I felt about myself. I wouldn't say that I had a self-esteem issue or anything, but she's taken it to a totally different level, So, Jocelyn is more of the nurturing, motherly. She's just me in the 2017 version. And Khadijah is the person that I wish I could have been.
Right.
At 23. So I live vicariously through both of them.
I love it.
For different reasons.
Now, I wanted to ask you though, with Khadijah, how do you help nurture that? Like, how did she become that person?
It was a learning process actually for both my husband and I. Because as parents, I had this conversation with my mom. She saw something that I had posted. It was a post that I put on Facebook, and I was ranting. Which is usually when I go on Facebook, that's usually what I do. They had this Facebook Live thing, and I go on there and I rant. And say, my feelings about certain things, whatever. But I was ranting, and it was about, real short story, it was about a client who wanted to negotiate with me about what she should pay. And she started the conversation with, this is what I should pay. I do this. She wanted to bring in her own product, so she wanted some money taken off for the service because she was bringing in her own product. And I said, well, that's just not how this works, darling. This is not how I do this. This is not, I don't do, my prices are not a la carte. And she went on to explain to me as to how I should negotiate. And she's from the project, and she's from, a certain area in Chicago, and this is the way we do stuff. Well, I don't care where you're from. I don't care where you live. I don't care where you grew up. That's not how we're going to do it. And I was just irritated by the fact that that's like the second or third time that I had heard someone use that analogy that, I'm from the project, so that means I'm tough, or I'm from the low end, so that means, I have a certain mentality. In other words, you going to punk me into doing something because of the way you was raised, the way you was born, or whatever. Girl, that don't mean nothing to me. I don't care about that. I don't care where you're from. You can't punk me into doing something because you're going to say you're from the Wild Hundred. I don't care about that.
Right.
So anyway, I was doing a rant about that, and my mother saw it. And she called me in her motherly way. And she was just like, you are a role model to a lot of people, and I don't want you to, come off as being, this certain type of person or whatever. And I was like, Mom, I don't care about, what people think. I was not disrespectful. I said how I felt, and that's it. And whoever don't like it, they can either unfollow me or don't look at the video. I don't, but I'm not going to change, what my feelings were towards the situation. And I just explained to her, I said, I know as a mother, you have in your mind, you have visioned how you want me to be. As parents. It's natural.
Yeah.
You have in your mind what you want of your children.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. It's just a natural thing. So as a mother, I can look at all of four of my children and say, I want you to do this, and I want you to take this path, and this is how I want you to do it. This is the way, when situations occur, this is how I want you to handle them. This is the way I want you to dress, And I've learned that that's crazy. You know, and my children, I like to say that my children are extensions of me and not replicas. I don't want them to be so caught up in, you know, how's mom gonna think? Is mom gonna be happy about this? You know, so very early on, Kwame and I will look at Khadijah, literally, like sit on the couch and just look at her as she's, you know, telling a story or whatever. You know, we call it in her Khadijah-ness. I mean, there's a joke even about the way she speaks. It's like, you know, I tell Io at one point, different points, they all only certain, well, one or two of them could understand her because she speaks so fast. And I was like, Io, could come speak Khadijah because I don't know what she is.
know what she said, right?
Jocelyn, could you please, you know, explain to me what she's saying? I don't speak Khadijah. I don't know what she's trying to say. But we looked at her and we said, okay, we just have to let this girl just be. You know, we just have to let her be, you know, and that's what I do. And, you know, when I feel like she goes a little bit over, you know, a little closer to the edge than I like, because we have the relationship that we have, I can come in and then say, yo, oh, wait, you know. And because she appreciates and she respects me as her mother, she's receptive. And she receives, you know, when I'm giving her constructive criticism. And when I'm saying, yo, you're doing too much. Now, wait a minute. Oh, Mom, you know, and I'll get that, oh, Mommy, you know, no. But she reforms, you know, conforms. And because it's like, it's a sense of respect. I don't try to control her.
Right.
So she knows whenever I come in and I step in and I give, you know, I really give my 2 cents, she knows, she's like, oh, okay, I must have really did a little, you know, a little too much as a kid. I did a little too much.
Right.
So let me wheel it in a little bit. And we have no problems. None at all. You know, she's of all 4 of my children, I've had the least amount of problems with her.
Okay.
But she is the most outgoing, outspoken, I can't, you have to experience it.
Right. No, yeah. No, that's understandable.
You have to experience Khadijah. It's like, you know, to know her is to, you know, it's like you want to be in her space. You want to be in her presence. You want to be, you know, I think she's the most likable out of all of my children. Because most of my kids are kind of like introverts. They're not really They're not really people. But you know, Khadijah is totally a people person. You know, she loves an audience. She loves the spotlight. She's an amazing character. You know, you have to, if ever you're in her space, you have to experience.
Yeah.
You know,
no, that's
you
good.
can speak Khadijah.
That's good. That's good. Well, what is something that every woman should try once in her lifetime?
Something every woman should try in her lifetime. I would actually say, that's a hard one. I don't know. Fall in love, and to fall in love without ambition, to fall in love without the fear of being hurt.
Okay.
You know, it's to fall in love without the fear of rejection. It's like, it's kind of like that submissive love, and it's very difficult for women today because we have been taught to be so strong, to be, you know, to come in and fill in the holes where the holes don't, you know, where there are holes. You know, Auntie taught me a long time ago. You know, being a woman is an amazing thing, and it's something that I enjoy 100%. I tell people I'm not with the whole women's lib I am one that I could do what a man could do, whatever. No, y'all can have all that. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to do what a man can do. I don't want to be a man. I don't even want to be like one. I love being a woman. I love being catered to. I love being spoiled. You know, one of Quan's favorite sayings about me is I am a spoiled brat. You are a spoiled brat. Your mama spoiled you, your grandmama spoiled you, your grandfather spoiled you, your mama spoiled you, your auntie spoiled you, and then I came in and I have taken the throne and I have spoiled you. You are a spoiled brat. And sometimes I take offense to it, but most times I'm like, you're right.
Okay.
I love being a woman. And Auntie gave me a story a while ago about a girlfriend of hers who was a Caucasian woman, a white woman, who she worked with. And she said her husband lost his job. And he was making six figures, corporate America, made six figures or whatever. And it was just lavish lifestyle. He lost his job. He downsized, actually. He had to downsize his job where, maybe making 3/4 or even half of what his salary was before. So, of course, they had to downsize, their homes and their cars and whatever. And she said one of the other young ladies in the office was like, well, you could go, because she worked part-time or something like that, you could actually put in and, come and work full-time or even, interview for a higher position where you can kind of, you can supplement. In other words, so if your husband was making $50,000 and was making $100,000, now he's making 50, you could easily come in and make $50,000 and you guys could still, have the same salary that you had, same income, and still live the same lifestyle that you're accustomed to living. And that woman was like, I'm not doing that. Why am I going to do that?
Right.
I'm like, no, I'm not changing my life. I'm not gonna take away from the fact that I pick my kids up from school and then I cook dinner and dinner is ready for them and I'm able to take them on vacations and I don't want to do that. We're gonna downsize. We're gonna move into a cheaper house.
Come on.
We're gonna get rid of one of these cars and we're going to live within the means that my husband is able to provide.
That's awesome. That's what's up.
Now for a black woman, that doesn't register. We don't understand that. It's like, no, I don't want my friends to know that that my husband lost his job and it's not making so much money. So I'm gonna go get 2 or 3 jobs so that I can supplement what he's unable to do. So in other words, we're stepping into that role of trying to be the provider and supplement the provisions of the family. And I'm not with that. My husband too. When he left UPS, he left a 6-figure job. We had to downsize.
Right.
The house that we're in now, I could put inside of the house that we were in before. But guess what?
Yeah.
I was not willing to say, I'm going to go out and then, and do something different than what we were accustomed to doing or what I like to do. I like being taken care of. I like for my husband to say, I'm the provider, I'm going to make sure you have what you need. Now, instead of getting 4 or 5 on such and such, you can only get 1 or 2. I can deal with that. I'm okay with that. So, I think, that's just a lesson as far as, us women, how which, and I don't even know if I've geared off topic. I probably did, but just, where we should be as women and just get back to just the basics of I guess every situation is different. Every woman is not able to do that. And I'm not talking about, I don't want you to have to get the backlash of women saying, well, I had to get a job so that I can, so that we could make ends meet. That's a totally different situation. But I'm saying if you're doing that to keep up with the Joneses and to and to save face and to keep a certain status, to me, that's taking away from, your husband, allowing your husband to be the man to take care of you the way, you were meant to be taken care of.
Right.
Cared for.
Yeah.
And you enjoying being a woman, you enjoying what that means for, your husband, your spouse to say, I got you, I got you. We're gonna be good, I got you. Again, in situations where there are 2 income households where mom and dad have to work, husband and wife or whatever have to work to make ends meet. then that's something totally different. But if you're doing it just so you can say, I still want to drive around in two Benz and, keep this house that we really can't afford, to me, that's crazy.
Right. And yeah, we definitely want to, like you were saying, even with the disclaimer, because we know it's not even all women. So even though, that woman so happened to be Caucasian, we know that there are still other women of other races that they do the same thing. They know how to say, hey, we downsize. And I mean, we know, like, of course, I know you can relate more, and as well as me, as far as in being African-American women. And so there are some times, and it's not all of us, who do that, who feel like we got to keep up, or we got to, we can't let people know this and that and that. But there are, still there are some of us who, we do the same thing. We know how to accommodate, and allow, like you were saying, because the base thing, we were talking about was that you basically said something that every woman should try once in her lifetime. And that's basically, falling in love and allowing yourself to be catered to. It's okay. And I think that's perfect, for in this day in society, because that is how it is, where, you be this independent woman. Because I know, they talked about even with, Destiny's Child, the whole independent, they said they did a lot of independent women, and people were saying, Beyonce telling y'all be independent, and, she got her somebody. But I'm just like, still, it is a time for that when that's needed. But it is also, I agree with you, a time for you to be the woman. And we are the helpmeet. That's the part that, we were created to be. And that's to be side by side and to be there, but to be that softer side. And so that's perfect. That's awesome. Well, I do want to ask you, too, what would you say to a woman with a broken heart?
Oh, it gets better. It will mend. You will, you'll love again. And you might even have a broken heart again. I've been there. I have been in a space that was so dark, and my heart broke to the point where I did not think that I would survive. Like, I know that I cannot. This is the closest thing to death as that could possibly be. I know that, but in that time and space, my thought process was, I'm about to go out. The Lord is about to take me out, because there's no other way, there's no other place for me to go. And it's again, I believe that we try to skip the process of healing.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And that a lot of times that stuns us and enables us to move forward, because we become stuck. And in a broken heart, it's all about healing. And it's all about it's a process, and you have to allow yourself. There's I don't know how many there are, but there are, it's like in anything, in mourning, there's a process. And so you go through the anger, and then the resentment, and then the hurt. So I mean, I say allow yourself to go through the process. Allow yourself to feel the pain. Allow yourself cry. Allow yourself to cry. Don't be this stoic person that's like, oh, I can't cry. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry today. If you cry today, cry today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I believe that you should always have someone, a partner, through the process, because that partner is going to make sure you don't stay in one set of the process longer than you need.
Okay.
And then with mourning, you don't want to stay in one space too long, because then you get stuck there. So as long as you're moving along in the process, so you were angry 2 months ago, today you're not angry, you're a little sad, and allow yourself to feel the sadness. Okay, well, now you're not sad anymore. Now you're a little resentful. You know what I mean? Okay, allow yourself to feel that. Now you're not resentful. And as long as you're moving along in the process and going through the steps, that's fine. But allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to go through the process. And I mean, as long as you do that, you will come out and you'll be fine. And again, they're learning, tools. You will use that for your next heartache, because there more than likely will be another one. And it doesn't necessarily mean with a different person, you know. It's like it may be that same person. It may not be the same hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it may be a different hurt. You know what I mean? It's like, I've experienced different types of hurt, you know, with my husband, both as the giver and the receiver, you know.
Okay.
So there may be, you know, there like I said, there may be different types of hurt, you know. It doesn't always have to be centered around infidelity. It doesn't have to always be centered around another man or another woman. But it gives you, you know, to experience that, it gives you that experience and wisdom to be able to deal with it when you go through it again, you know. And in the process, you learn that the process becomes not necessarily easier, but you can recognize. It's like going through menopause. It's like I didn't for a long time. I'm in premenopause. For a long time, I was like, what in the heck is going on with me? I didn't understand. I didn't understand the symptoms. I didn't understand the mood swings. I didn't understand the PMS. I'm like, what in the world is happening to me? When I understood, and I had a few episodes of anxiety, whatever, then I was able to say, you know, even now, when I have an anxiety attack, when I feel it coming on, instead of going into the initial panic that I used to have, I said, okay, I'm having an anxiety attack. But you know what? I've done this before. I've had these before. It's gonna pass. I'll be okay. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm gonna live through it, and I'll be okay. And I just kind of allow it to happen. Just like, you know, you see older people who have hot flashes. You know what I mean? Like I said, who go through that whole menopausal thing. There's so many different areas of that you don't even know. You just hear about the hot flashes, but there's so much other stuff that goes on to that. But now that I understand it, and I know, you know, the process of what I'm going through when it occurs, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, the same thing with heartache. When you've had one, when you have another one, you understand it, and you're able to say, okay, I can get through this. You know, that doesn't make it hurt any less, but you know that you'll be okay. Don't feel like I'm going to die. Like I said, I felt, you know, like I'm going to die because this is the worst pain that I've ever felt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's not necessarily a physical pain, and that's worse, because at least with a physical pain, you know, they say when you're looking at a wound, a doctor is working on it, and you can't help but to look at it. Somehow looking at it and seeing the progress of being healed in some way, seeing the stitches going in, although it hurts, but actually being able to look at it and see, okay, that's one stitch in, that's two stitches, okay, I got 4 more stitches to go. That kind of puts you at ease to say it's almost over, it's almost closed, that wound is almost closed. But for it to be internal, where you can't see it, it's just a feeling, and you don't know how long it's going to stay, you don't know when it's going to be over. It's like that in itself is torture. So just understanding that, okay, you know, after you've gone through to say, okay, I know that I'm going to get through this. I may not know when, but I know that I'm going to get through it. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be fine. And hopefully you don't have too many of them.
Right.
But it's like you just understand that you'll be fine. You know, it's going to be okay, and allow yourself to go through the process.
Awesome. What superpower would you like to have?
Oh, gosh. To calm myself. So that I can be in multiple places at multiple times. I know I can say that. There have been so many times when, you know, kids have had games at 2 different places, or I wanted to be at 2 different places, or, you know, it's like, yeah. So if I had a superpower, I would definitely want to be able to send my other self, you know, 2 or 3 of me, if possible. But shoot, as many as need be. Shoot, if I need 5 of me, then 5 of me. And I still have my same. It's not like it's a different person. It's me. So I get to have the feeling of being there, the understanding of being, you know, in multiple places. But yeah, I would like to be able to call myself.
Okay. And what would a perfect day for you look like?
Oh, a perfect day. A perfect day for me would be to get up and not have to fuss at my children about not cleaning up the bathroom or not flushing the toilet. Go and have breakfast at my favorite breakfast place, who has this amazing French toast. Have a nice rum punch. Yes, I drink alcohol with breakfast.
Okay.
And I love the outdoors, so I could, planting and the summertime I love because I'm able to be outside in the yard and it's very therapeutic to me. I can just sit and, people say it's daydreaming. I say it's meditating. I say I'm meditating and I don't even know I'm meditating because I am usually in deep thought, oblivious to the things that are around me, whether I'm in the house or outside or whatever. And coming home to a nice glass of wine and not having to fuss about when I come in the house, the book bags is in the middle of the floor. So not having to fuss, a nice, amazing breakfast, because I love breakfast, and then a nice glass of red wine and flowers, good weather and flowers. That's a perfect day for me.
That's beautiful. The last question is, what's the most important lesson that you've learned in the last year?
Oh, wow, that's profound. In the last year. I would say that there is so much envy in this world, and just to be mindful of, I've read this saying, and that says that, pay attention when your friends don't clap for you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't clap when you win or something like that. It's like pay attention to the friends that don't clap when you win.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that's kind of been my lesson. It's like these last couple of years have been very enlightening to me as to not necessarily who my real friends are, but the agenda of people. It's like I believe that. And to be honest with you, I don't necessarily even think that it's something that is calculated. I don't think that people are even aware that they're doing it. I think it's just kind of human nature. But people always have an agenda. There's always an agenda. And again, sometimes it is, it is intentional. But I honestly believe that most times it's unintentional, and it's just the nature of a human. It's like, what can I get out of you? What purpose could I use you for my betterment? And just understanding that, and I don't have a problem with it, to be honest with you. Because, if I say that it's of human nature, that means that I, too, do it. So, I'm not, saying that I don't do that, I'm saying that, I must, too. And I may not even, like I said, it's unintentional. But, so I don't necessarily have a problem with it as long as it does not take someone or myself outside of my morals, my values, and again, it's not sought to cause harm to anyone. So for whatever reason, I can be of assistance to you and help in whatever way that I can, even if I don't know that I'm helping. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But don't do it in a manner in which, again, it's like you feel you're trying to coax me out of what you know to be, my core values, my morals, or it means that it's going to be, it's going to cause someone harm, physical, emotional, mentally, or whatever, then I have a problem with it. But yeah, I've learned that, people are really, I don't even know the adjective for it, but they're really strange. It's really strange, and you have to be very kind of conscious of the people around you, even those that you know really, really well. You got to just still kind of just watch. I love to do that too. I love to people watch. I love, I went to a taco place the other day after work on Saturday, and I just sat there. I literally sat there. One of my times I was just sitting and meditating. I literally sat there for about 3.5 hours just by myself. I was by myself. It was a nice day outside. I sat outside on the patio. I ate. I had a couple of margaritas. And there was a couple, I don't know if they were a couple, but it was a young woman and a young man. They were young, in their early 20s. And they were talking, and the topic of the discussion was about labels of sexuality. So they were talking about, how, straight, gay, bisexual, how this, how these labels have now, the young lady's, her argument was, I don't feel that there should be any labels. You should not be conformed to check a box. If you're straight or gay or bisexual, what does that mean? The young man was, it was a healthy debate. But I was just listening, and just listening to the conversation, just around me, and not wanting to chime in, because I just was excited just to hear the viewpoints of other people. And that's what I'm saying when I say just watch and listen to the people that are around you, and not always, want to give your opinion or whatever, but just kind of listen. You'd be amazed at what you kind of learn. So yeah, that's kind of what I've learned, that people are really interested. Not strange, just say that people are really interested.
Yeah, that's good stuff. We're going to move into our faith segment, and this is actually an opportunity for you to share how your faith has been tested, a time when it was, and how you came through it.
Okay. I think the worst time that I can think of, and it's not even, it really doesn't have anything to do. Surprisingly, if people would ask me that, most people would think that it would be the death of my grandmother. But surprisingly, as hurtful as that was, that did not test my faith. I did not. I think I was comforted in the fact that I knew the woman that my grandmother was. So there was never, I think a lot of times when we're upset about the death of someone, and, we question God, it's because subconsciously, again, I don't think this is something that we necessarily consciously are aware of, we're not sure as to where their position was with God. So we're most oftentimes worried about, their soul, where they're going, where if they're going to be, are they going to glory? Are they at peace? And that was never, ever, ever an issue for me. I knew, the type of woman that my grandmother was. I knew that she was at peace. The way in which she died was peaceful in itself. I knew that, I know that she is, with God. I know that she is, she's good. So that did not at all test my faith at all. I was upset. I was sad that, she wasn't here with me anymore. But I didn't question God. I didn't get angry with him. I think one of the worst times in my life was really actually the experience that my husband and I had that was centered around infidelity. And I think because this man who I had given so much of my heart to, that I had literally centered my life around, my husband and my children, was able or capable of hurting me in the magnitude that he did.
Okay.
And I didn't understand it. I didn't understand. It was a hurt that I can't even explain. Like I said, I had a bout of depression, and I don't blame him for that, for my reaction to it. I don't blame him for that part. Like my reaction was my reaction.
Okay.
And he had nothing to do with how I was going to react to it. But because I did react in that manner, it was just a devastation, because and this is a man who has always been good to me. Always been good to me. I've never wanted for anything, and I don't just mean monetarily. I mean, I had attention. I had, emotionally, he was there for me. Mentally, he was there for me. We worshiped together, and so it wasn't that situation where, I felt that there was any brokenness at all. Like we were good, and it just was a matter of shit happens, It's like, and that's how I kind of look at it now. It's like it happened. It happened. But at that time, I tested. I was tested, and I questioned God. I said, how, who does this? How could you allow this to happen? How could you allow this to happen to me? How could you allow me, your baby, your child, to walk into this foolishness and be put in a space of total devastation like this? What you on, God? How do you allow me to have to go through this?
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe that it was a time of humbling for both of us.
Okay.
A time of kind of restructuring, where we were going and how we were to, going forward, tackle things. In hindsight, it's always easy to play Monday morning quarterback. So now I could look back on the situation and say, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, I get that. Now I understand. Even in having conversations with other women where I'm able to give them, a little bit of my, I don't necessarily know if it's wisdom, but a little bit of my, my wisdom from my experience or whatever.
Right.
I know that it just helps people. And for a long time, I didn't want to even discuss it because, again, it was like me bringing the outside world into my personal space or whatever. But I honestly believe that I went through that for a reason, and one of the reasons was that I would be able to come out and to counsel and mentor and to, give my account of my situation to other people, in hopes that they can, look at me now and say, yeah, you're all right, you're good, you'll be good, I'm going to be all right. And when I finally got out of, I was hospitalized. I was in a really dark space. So much so that my mom flew from Colorado. She said, oh, heck no, let me get to my baby.
Right.
And just to look at her face, that phone mess was not doing it for Paula. And she, and after, I literally started reading books, and I can't even remember the one book that kind of got me through, but it was a marriage counselor. Him and his, I want to say his wife, but it was another, she was a female, I can't remember if she was something, but it was a book that I read. And it kind of was like okay, this is the bright light. And I was able to see the light. And I started reading. And then I started listening to worship. And that, for me, I do like ministers and listening to, the gospel and the word, whatever. But what kind of prepares me is ministry music. Like, that gets me, you could play a song to me, you put that could be a sermon for me. And I remember just kind of literally submerging myself in the word. Like, literally, it was from the time I woke up until the time I went to sleep. I was, covering myself constantly putting affirmations around my house because I vowed that I did not want to be in that dark space ever again. I did not like it. This is, that's foolishness. That's crazy. I don't want to ever go there again. So whatever I got to do,
right.
It's like, whatever you got to do I had a sunburn, and I said, that pain of being sunburned. Now, as much as I love the sun, I don't care, girl. I'm submerging myself in sunscreen. I don't want to feel that again.
Right.
So that's how I felt, with that situation. I said, I don't ever want to feel this again. I don't ever want. So I did. I submerged myself in the Word, and I said, Lord, if you bring me through this, I'm going to be a vessel, truly. Because I don't want anybody to feel this.
Right.
So, again, that's kind of, what I try to, how I try to live as an example. I'm not really somebody who goes out and speaks to a large audience or whatever, but I try to, people who are close to me and who know me and know the Kwame and I, they know, they know what we've gone through. And so even if I just, as an example, the way that I, live, with my husband and for myself, you were able to see that, oh yeah, I know what she went through. I know where she was, 10, 15 years ago. I know the headspace that she was in. To see her today, oh yeah, I can do this. I'm going to be all right.
Right. No, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, we're going to move into our closing segment, and it's called Matters of the Heart Moment. And the first question is, if you had the opportunity to speak to your 4-year-old self, what would you say to her?
Oh, God, Tasha, I don't even remember my 4-year-old self.
Well, maybe we need to bring it up to preteen. Look, talk about your preteen self.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I don't remember. Like, when people say that, it's like, I remember when I was 20 years old. I'm like, you do?
You do remember?
I have no recollection of me as a 4-year-old. I would say, though, what I do remember are my late grammar school years, like 7th and 8th grade, and, of course, high school. So, I mean, as a young girl,
yeah,
I guess I would say it's okay. I don't know if you remember or if I even brought that up when we were younger, but I had an invisible friend. Do you remember that?
I don't know. I don't remember. No.
No, you don't remember? Okay. I did. I had an invisible friend.
Okay.
And she had a name. I don't remember what her name was now. But I was, for whatever reason, and again, because I don't remember my 4-year-old self, I don't remember that young, for whatever reason, I felt that I had to have people around me. Like, I wanted so bad to have this big family. Like, I made up stories to people, and I don't know who will hear this. I mean, because I've never admitted this before. But I remember I made up stories to people as a young girl that I had this big old family. Like, I had like 5 or 6 brothers and sisters. And,
wow.
and I had names for all of them. And
wow.
Yeah, and I don't know if it came from me being the oldest and having this, this responsibilities or whatever, and me wanting to be the younger sibling or whatever. But yeah, I made up the story because my biological father, he passed when I was in 8th grade. So I was able to make up stories. I mean, I say make up stories, but they were blank lies.
Right,
but
right.
No, because they were stories. Because I was making stories. I mean, it wasn't like, they were just like I would be, like you would write a book. They
right, yeah.
So I guess I would just think to my younger self, that you are enough. You don't need a big family around you. You don't need to be like everybody else. You don't need that. I don't know if it was because I was around people who had big families, or who I looked at and was envious because of the family structure that they had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess I would look back and say, you're enough, and what you have is amazing and beautiful, And it's funny that I can say I had an amazing childhood. I remember only happy times. And then to think back to say, oh, but yeah, maybe that was because I made up stories.
Right. You were the narrator of your story. So yes, my childhood was amazing, right?
So, I
love it.
You know what? You're fine. You're enough. You are enough, and what you have is sufficient.
Right. No, that's good. Well, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
The best piece of advice that I've ever received. Nothing beats a failure but a try. It's like one of my former neighbors said that to me. She was she's older than me, not that much, maybe 5 or 6 years. She may have been 10 years older than me, but anyway, she had this southern drawl, and I loved her because nobody liked her. Nobody liked her. Everybody said she was psycho, and she was. She has some very crazy mentality.
A mess.
But I loved her because her mind, her way of thinking was just so cool to me. I mean, it was just, and I don't even remember the situation in which she gave me that information, but when she first said it to me, I was like, huh? It was like one of those old wives' tales you hear. It's like, she said, nothing beats a failure but a try. You cannot fail. You can only fail if you do not try. And I hear it relate to different things, like in the basketball world, which is, what my world consists of. But I hear the saying, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Right.
If you throw the ball up towards the basket, there's a chance it'll go in, there's a chance that it won't. But if you never shoot the ball, it's a 100% chance that it's not going in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it relates to that, nothing beats a failure but a try. I mean, no matter if I've never touched the ball before, if I try to get it in the basket, I can't be a failure. If I don't try, then I'm 100% a failure. So I think that's kind of that in itself, and you can relate that to every area of your life. In your marriage, in school. I'm in school now. I'm taking online classes, which is very good and very difficult. Depending on how you learn, I think that it would help me probably a lot more if I was in the classroom and I had a teacher that I could sit down and talk to, and they could give me, now, although you have the tools, I feel responsible for pretty much teaching myself.
Right.
And so I know that, even though it's difficult, if I don't at least attempt to do the assignment, I don't even at least attempt to read the information that's given to me, that if I don't attempt to read it, I won't know anything. At least if I attempt to read it, I can say, okay, well, I remember this piece, and it may take me a few times to go through it or whatever, but if I don't even open the dang on book, man, no, of course, you're not going to get anything out of it. So, yeah, it relates to every area in your life. If you don't try in your marriage, there's no way it can be successful. But if you try, and both parties are willing to try, then there's a chance that you guys can, that you can do this, parenting, at work, in every area of your life, you can subscribe to that piece of advice.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, we definitely want to thank you so much for, being with us today and sharing a piece of your world.
Thank you for having me. This was amazing. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. That's good. Wonderful. And our goal at the Flora Pearl Foundation is to always be a blessing to all of those that we come in contact with by operating with the spirit of excellence. We want to thank you all so much for listening today. And you can visit our website at www.florapearlfoundation.org. We look forward to spending time with you all each week, and we will talk to you soon.